Shari, nice to see you.
Nice to see you too.
Yeah. Okay, well, let's start off with you had some pretty cool things that you would take me to do if we were in the Netherlands together. So, yeah, talk me through that.
Well, we would definitely like do dance classes together,
Totally.
and um, but like the dance classes here are, I think, different than like in New York. So it will be a different experience, but also fun because only danced in Deventer, a class from my best friend. But I definitely want to like do more classes like in Amsterdam as well, where there's like a bit more difference than in Deventer because Deventer is quite, it's like a village, not really a city, and Amsterdam is like the city and Rotterdam as well. So definitely like one of the classes there to like just like give you the experience.
Yeah, totally. And do you do
And
like so we met doing Afro dance hall and like Afro music dance, but do you also do like traditional Dutch dance?
no.
No, none of that. Okay.
I think traditional Dutch dance, is there traditional Dutch dance?
Yeah, and
I
like
think like a lot of people like when they go to techno parties, like they have, I think they call it hakken.
okay.
Like they just jump around and I'm like, okay, that's not really my thing. So no, not really into Dutch dancing. I don't
I'm
think they have like a typical dance though.
Yeah, I guess I wasn't really thinking of a dance either. I was thinking of the clogs, those like wooden clogs, which are very Dutch, right? It's like a wooden shoe, and I think now
Oh, klompen.
klompen.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's there's not really a dance with it, but like I think it's a tradition. Like just like they have like windmolens and stuff. That yeah, klompen, I know what you mean.
Okay,
No, they don't dance with those. Like I
okay.
hope you don't.
I guess I was thinking like a tap dance style thing with those wooden shoes, but yeah, that'd probably be pretty tough.
Yeah, because I think they're really heavy
Yeah,
as well.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, so growing up in the Netherlands, maybe you personally, or even like what you see in terms of how people think about the Netherlands, like what are the stereotypes of the Dutch, I guess?
Stereotypes. Um, well, Dutch stereotype is like mostly like families. You have like a mom, dad, two kids, and mostly a pet, because
Okay.
a lot of Dutch people like love animals and stuff. And um, yeah, in like where I have lived in Groningen, it was like a multicultural setting. So that was really nice growing up because I have like a lot of multicultural friends.
Hmm.
Deventer is like a bit more close-minded, like a lot of Dutch people, but like also very nice, like also depending like where you live. But I think Deventer would be a bit more like close-minded because of course there are some cultures, but not a lot.
Yeah.
And Deventer also has like a lot of Turkish people, which I love because their food is amazing
Hmm.
and they're really nice people as well. So I think Deventer is like more Turkish people, and like Groningen was like really multicultural, like any culture you could find there.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
and the stereotype, I don't really know. Like I think I am like a very like easygoing person, so I like connect with like a lot of people. So I don't really know like a stereotype there.
If I was to think about the Netherlands, I would immediately think about Amsterdam. And
Mm-hmm.
then because I'm immediately thinking about Amsterdam, I'm thinking of like weed smoking and the red light district, which
Yeah.
is like just such a, maybe you can talk about this a little, but it's such a small part of the Netherlands. And so like if anybody's like come up to you and been like, oh, you must smoke a lot of weed because you're from the Netherlands, like I don't know if you get that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, like that. Yeah, that happens like all the time, especially like when I travel and they're like, "Where are you from?" I'm like, "I'm from the Netherlands." "Oh, Amsterdam." I'm like, "The Netherlands doesn't just exist out of Amsterdam." Or they just know like the big cities like Amsterdam, Rotterdam and Utrecht. But I think it's because a lot of tourists come to Amsterdam and like they come there to smoke and all this stuff, and of course it's like legal there, so they can just do it wherever they like.
Mhm.
But I think what like really stands for the Netherlands is like the cheese. I don't like mm, I don't love cheese. I like it sometimes, but a lot of people like are like, oh, I love Amsterdam or Netherlands cheese and all this stuff, but I'm not really into it.
Okay.
And you have the tulips.
Oh yeah, the
Um,
tulips. Yeah, that's a
yeah,
good one.
the windmolens are like something that's really Dutch, or something that a lot of people like recognize from the Netherlands.
And you're talking
And
about like, so in the US, I think we would say windmills, but like the little
yeah,
blowy,
the
blowy windmills.
energy
Yeah.
things like that
Yeah.
turn around. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, and of course, like Amsterdam, you have the canals and like a lot of history also in Amsterdam, and like all the tourists come there. So that's why I think most, and it's of course the capital. So I think that's why people are always like Amsterdam, but like there's a lot more and a lot more beautiful places as well that you can like see tourist things.
Yeah. What's your favorite spot in the Netherlands?
Mm, yeah, I would still say Amsterdam though,
Oh, would you?
because it's just like when you're there, it's like you're in a different country because there's so much different cultures walking around, and you can do so much because Amsterdam is so big. If you're like in the city, it's like really busy and tourist, but like if you go to the Belmer, it's also busy, but like different. It's more like open and like much more fun, because in the city it's busy, but like it can be irritating because it's so busy with tourists, like everybody stopping every 5 minutes to take a photo while it's super busy and you're like, I just want to walk.
Yeah.
So that's the difference between the city and like Belmar or a different part of Amsterdam. But like there's so much to see there. Like I still haven't seen everything there, so
Right.
what I
Right.
really
And
like
you're
about.
saying Belmore? What's this place?
Belmar is, a lot of people would describe it as the ghetto, which it's absolutely not, because there's a lot of crime in the city as well. But I think Belmar would be like the place where if you have like New York City, and then Belmar would be like maybe the Bronx or Brooklyn.
Okay.
Like it's just it's like a half hour with the sub to Belmar, but you have like the Ajax Stadium, the football you have there, and you have like a lot of concert places, and like it's just an amazing place. I
Yeah.
love it.
Okay. Yeah, I'll have to go explore it on Google Street View and see what it's all about. Because, yeah, I've only been to Amsterdam and only for, I don't know, 4 days probably.
Mm,
So I have not explored much of the Netherlands really.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, I also wanted to talk about this. Well, so you're here in New York right now. So we've gone out to protest, Black Lives Matters protests together.
Hmm.
But I remember you talking about this particular, I guess like holiday is probably a weird word, but like festival in the Netherlands where people do blackface.
Hmm.
So like, what's that called? And like, talk to me about why they're doing this and how you feel about it as a Black woman.
Hmm. So it's called Zwarte Piet, and it's on the 5th of December. It's like this child party where like Santa Claus comes. We call it Santa Claus, but like translated it's Santa Claus. He comes with his black beads, which are his like helpers, and he brings like gifts to the children. And um, like I celebrated it when I was younger as well, because we were in the Netherlands and it is a tradition. So, but like as I grew older, like you start to like realize what Black Beat actually is, because like it's just like slaves actually, and like the white Santa Claus is like, he is like the slave owner. And it's like as you grow older, like you look into stuff like that and you realize like what it is and that it's not okay. And of course they are like, it's our tradition, we don't want to change it, blah 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 blah. But like the kids don't really care about who comes to give the present, they just want the presents.
Right.
And I think like it started in 2013 that like a lot of groups started like protesting against it, and they're like, it's not okay and it's just racism. And it's going back and forth, because of course in the Netherlands also you have like freedom of speech and stuff. So it has been going on for a while, and like it's like in 2013 I think I started seeing like it's really bad, like the racism in the Netherlands, because like if you have freedom of speech, why the protesters who are like against Black Pete are like, because one of the leaders, his car was like, they broke his windows and like they completely ruined his car, and police were there and they didn't do anything, and he was arrested. And I'm like, I thought there was freedom of speech.
Right.
So
Right.
it's really weird. And now, like with everything going on in the world as well, like there was a protest on the dam the other day, and there's this Dutch rapper that said like it really has to stop now. And like out of anger, he said, if I see any Black Pete this year, I will like kick him. I will like hit him in his face. And like there's been so much commotion about that, and I'm like, seriously, it's like he said something, he will not do it because first of all he's like a role model.
Yeah.
And there are like so many discussions going on about it, because even on Veronica TV, that's like a football TV program in the Netherlands, there was this reporter that said like, yeah, I think something happened, and he's like, are you sure it wasn't like the Dutch rapper? And then he showed like a picture or of a Black Pete. And I'm like, if you're saying it's not racist, why would you make such comment? Like, and he didn't get attacked for it. He didn't apologize, but like the rapper had to apologize. And like, it's now just like everywhere things are like popping up about the racism thing, and people who have been like hiding it for so long cannot hide it anymore. So it's a good thing that it's coming out, but like I hope like for this time that there will really be change.
Sure.
Because of course when you're younger, people will call you that, like, hey Black Pete, or hey, you don't need to like put on like paint so that you look like Black Pete and stuff like that. And if you're younger, it's like, oh, whatever. But like now thinking back, it's like, no, it's not okay. Like, why
Right.
would you say something like that if it's not racist, if it's just a party?
Right.
And a lot of things that I see is like the children really don't care. Like they just want their gifts. If the Pete is yellow, purple, because they also wanted to do like color Pete, like in different colors. And they're like, no, it's tradition. We need to keep them black, blah, blah, blah. But the kids don't care. They just want
Yeah.
their gifts.
Yeah, totally. It would seem so benign to change the color. If they still have to paint their faces, then you could just change the color. And I don't think anyone, I struggle to realize or to sympathize with why you would need it to stay black,
Mm-hmm.
knowing like even if it was not racist, which I think that it probably definitely is, but even if it wasn't, like knowing that you could hurt somebody unintentionally, wouldn't you want to change it as well?
Exactly.
Um, so yeah, I struggle to sort of sympathize there, I suppose,
Mm-hmm.
because it just seems like so obvious to just make it yellow or blue, or just
And
don't
like,
paint faces at all.
yeah, exactly. And the thing is, like, he comes through the, how do you call it? Chimney?
Chimney, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, he comes through there. First of all, if you go through there, you don't turn completely black. And they have like red lipstick, and they like to make their lips look bigger, and they have this big ear whoops, and then they have like afro hair. Like all of these things come through the chimney. Like, come on. That's such
Yeah,
a joke.
okay, I see. I see. So it's more than just the blackface. It's like a very
Yeah.
stereotypical, like negative image of a black person.
Yeah.
Interesting. I'll have to look up some images, to be fair, because not growing up in the Netherlands, like obviously I did not, I think I had sort of seen something of this nature, like maybe in 2013 when you were talking about it sort of getting more press. But yeah, I just didn't, I had no idea what it was about. So
Yeah.
that's pretty
But like
interesting.
even the EU is like saying, because they have like a EU parliament, even they are saying like it has to stop, like it's not okay.
Mm,
And they're talking about it, but I don't really know what they're gonna do, if they're even gonna do something. So
yeah. I mean, in growing up in the Netherlands, did you experience a bunch of racism there besides this besides this like festival or event, did you
Mhm.
experience racism like on a day-to-day basis?
Mm, I don't really think really bad because like, of course, like some things they will say like, oh, your Dutch is really good for a black girl or like
Mhm.
stuff like that, but not really, really bad. But like maybe in school, sometimes like you would see like that, like a teacher would like pick. I was always the person to be picked out like when anything happened. But like I know my laugh is like really loud and like I'm like always the person like laughing. Like whenever I started in school, I couldn't stop. So I was probably like mostly the cause of like trouble in the class. But like sometimes I would do nothing and they will be like, okay, you can go out. And I'll be like, seriously? And there was this one time I had like a Dutch teacher and I was sent out of the class and I was like, but what did I do? I wasn't the only one and I didn't do anything. So why are you sending me out? And like, she was being so annoying. And I was in the hallway in front of other teacher's classroom and he came out because we were yelling in the hall. And he goes like, if you don't go away right now, your score for something or anything, I will give you a 1. And I was like, what the hell? So it got really out of hand and she like the lady like pushed me and that's when I like freaked, but I couldn't do anything. So later I called my mom, but like there were like a lot of teachers like there who were really like supportive and stuff. It was just like maybe 1 or 2 teachers who were like always coming for me. And I called home and my niece was there and she was like, what, this lady touched you? I'm coming to school right now. And I'm like, no, don't do that. But like, of course, in any place I'll go, there will always be 1 or 2 persons like who are racist or anything. But like, I think I had it pretty good in the Netherlands. Like, because I always was like walking with multicultural friends and like the friends I had or the classes I were in, like I think it wasn't that bad. I think now like a lot of it is coming out. So I was actually really lucky like that I didn't experience it that much.
Yeah. It's surprising to me that you were the troublemaker in school because you seem you know, I just know you as a very different person. You're
Yeah.
such a nice like timid is maybe the wrong word, but you can be so soft spoken a lot
Mhm.
of the time. And
Yeah.
so it's funny to me that you were a troublemaker.
Yeah, I think being here has changed me a lot. And yeah, I think in the Netherlands it would just be like my laugh because like whenever somebody tells something and I start laughing, the whole class start laughing. And that was my problem because if somebody started, we will just continue and then they will be like, okay, stop now. And like if it would be a teacher that's so funny, like we couldn't stop.
Right.
And that would be the
Right.
problem.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's change gears just a little bit. What do, well, so you were going to, you also said that you wanted to take me to your church because you go to this church, you go to a Pentecostal, is that right?
Yeah, Pentecostal
Pentecostal
church.
church. So yeah, like tell me a little bit about that, and then if you could play one of the songs, that would be really cool.
Okay, so when I came to the Netherlands, like my mom was brought up Catholic, so we didn't really do much with it. Sometimes we would like go to this lady and then we would like read Bible stories and like me, my sister, and my brother were like, I think my sister and my brother have 3 years apart and me and my brother have like 2 years apart. But like we were so annoying together. And at this lady's house, we would just like whenever we were reading stories, we would just be like laughing and stuff and being so annoying. But like it's fun memories. But like then we went to Deventer, we moved to Deventer, and after a couple of years, my mom ran into this pastor lady, and she knew she knew my mom's, like she calls her his sister, but like they grew up together in Curacao, so they haven't seen each other for years. And then my mom found her there in the church, so we started going to church there, and I stayed in that church for 9 or 7 years, and that was a Nigerian church.
Mhm.
And then I left to Amsterdam and I got into the church where I'm in now. And it's mostly Ghanaian people and different cultures as well. But like it's such a, I don't know, the church, like whenever I think about church, I feel like having a new family, which
Okay.
is so nice because the people there are so nice. And of course, like not everyone is perfect. No one will be. No one can be. But like just being there and having like a family who cares for you, who prays for you and stuff is so nice. So I miss them so much.
Yeah, totally, totally. Yeah, and you're here for another year, right? Before you go back to the Netherlands?
Yeah.
Or here meaning the US because you're leaving for San Francisco. Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, that makes me so sad. I'm losing my dance partner in New York. So
Yeah.
yeah. How have you, from the Netherlands, how have you liked the US?
Yeah, like coming here, especially like seeing New York after only seeing it in movies was like wow. It was so amazing. And like just seeing like how everything is here, like dancing, meeting new people, like has been amazing. And that's something really I love making memories because like that's something nobody can take away from me. So being here and like experiencing like dancing and like seeing all the beautiful places, because I thought New York only existed like with big buildings and stuff, but like there's so much more to it. And I am just so glad that I could like experience it in real life, and I'm so happy for that. And like definitely having a new family here in New York, that is really something yeah, really special to me. And I'm like now like whenever I go back I'll be like I need to come to New York every year to dance because I'm gonna miss the
Yeah.
dancing studio so much.
Yeah, the studios here are good for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Um, what has been the biggest like culture shock? Like maybe sort of like negative culture shock.
mm, I think like the homelessness in the city
Mm-hmm.
and like the difference between rich and poor is really big here.
Yeah.
In the Netherlands, you have it, but like not in the open. And here in New York, it's like really like all up in your face. That
Yeah,
was really a shock to me. And yeah, now the racism as well and the police brutality,
totally.
like I knew that the police brutality was worse here than in the Netherlands, but like whatever happens here in a couple of years, the Netherlands will like copy everything. It's so bad.
Well,
But
hopefully not that part.
yeah, they do with something because like what happened to George Floyd, like I've seen reports in the Netherlands that it's happening as well, and I'm like, seriously, like, don't you guys only take like the positive stuff and
Mm.
leave the negative stuff? But some people will never learn.
Yeah, I guess. Well, I hope that they do though. I hope
Yeah.
that this is a moment where we can all sort of, it feels like the Black Lives Matters movement now is getting so much more solidarity from people of all different sort of ethnicities and backgrounds. Um,
Hmm.
so hopefully this is actually a change for the better, or will
Yeah.
push through some change.
Yeah, I hope so too.
Yeah. Um, Cool. All right. Well, I think that's it. Thanks so much for coming on and talking
Well,
about the Netherlands and Black Lives Matters and racism. I know that's probably not like your favorite subject,
hmm.
um, but I think it's worth people hearing. So thanks
Yeah,
so much.
you're welcome.